Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On August 13th and 14th, the StarCityGames.com Open Series comes to Richmond, and this event is going to be huge. We're talking hundreds of players, over $14,000 in cash prizes. At least 18 players qualify for the Charlotte Invitational at the end of the year. Live coverage all day long, courtesy of SCG Live, and as much Magic the Gathering as we can pack into one weekend. So make plans to join StarCityGames.com in Richmond, and we'll see you there. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. Today we're going to talk about Innistrad. Now first up, when does it come out? On September 30th we'll be basking in the creepy glow of a gothic horror setting now confirmed to have werewolves, ghosts, vampires, and zombies. Now you gotta check out this amazing Liliana artwork. This piece by the amazing Steve Argyle shows not only what a master he is, but how incredible Liliana of the Veil is going to look. Oh, I'm sorry, did you catch that? Oh, yeah, that's right, her name got spoiled as well, and Liliana of the Veil will be kicking ass soon enough. Fingers crossed for a 4-mana awesome black planeswalker. But that's not all to this artwork. Steve gave us two versions of this piece, one for Wizards, which was a bit toned down, and this version, Patow, which has all the bells and all the whistles. Just incredible. Now, as you'll recall, the supposed leaks so far include Flashback returning in a very graveyard-themed set. This leads me to think of a few mechanics beyond Flashback that may be returning. Firstly, how about Delve? I'd love to see Tombstalker officially in the current frame, and this cost-reducing mechanic is just waiting for a good R&D team to tear into it. Another Future Sight mechanic waiting for some love? Check out Gravestorm. Only printed on one card, but I can imagine this mechanic gets pretty crazy while also being relatively balanced, as you need permanents to go to the graveyard instead of any card ever going to your graveyard. So you can't just Tome Scour and then Bitter Ordeal copying it 5 times and so on and so forth. But as for something more real and concrete, Mark Rosewater recently mentioned on Twitter that we have quite a few tribes in the set, even though Innistrad is most definitely not a tribal set. Just what tribes are going to be in Innistrad again? Well, so far they've revealed all but one. We have zombies in black, but also in blue. While blue zombies are rare, they're not completely unheard of and have been in Magic for a long time. Vampires, however, are of course in black, but they also show up in red. Now this sounds like Innistrad will mark the first time a red vampire will show up in Magic that isn't multicolored like Blood Tyrant or a Vampiric Dragon. But where do ghosts fit? Those go right into white and blue. Now white has always been the ethereal color, and blue is the master of all things phantasmal. As Mark Rosewater explained on Twitter, having creatures be invisible, aka unblockable or hexproof or whatever, is a great way to explain in gameplay terms how ghosts will work. Lastly, we've got our werewolves. Now for me, because of the gothic nature of the set, you can imagine all of these tribes are going right into black, but Wizards knows better, and as such, our werewolves will be showing up in red and green. Now I'm certainly curious what werewolves hold, and my current guess is that every other turn these guys are amazing. With Innistrad rotating out, we lose our buddy Vengevine, and I'm expecting a pretty awesome 4-drop green werewolf to come barreling down the pike soon enough. There is one more tribe, but Rosewater isn't telling. Me, I think it's the humans, as they may show up again, battling the ghosts and all the wicked beasts that roam Innistrad. We'll see. Lastly, Wizards has revealed the name of the second set of Innistrad, Dark Ascension. Along with it comes a badass picture of Sorin being a badass. Yeah, have sword, we'll plunge it deep into your gullet. Have you seen Creepy Doll? Wizards of the Coast revealed it at the San Diego Comic-Con a few weeks ago, and it remains an incredible piece. This art is not only called Creepy Doll. According to Wizards, the final card is called that as well. Stuffy Doll has been a casual staple from the moment it was printed, and I'm excited for another freaky-looking doll to impact our game. Moving on, let's look at Standard. Now at this point, our format is once again solidified as Caw-Blade versus everything else. We are at an impasse. Now we can keep on banning stuff as we did with Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor, or we can simply recognize that this is a part of the metagame that can be defeated by certain strategies like the difficult-to-pilot Twin Pod, and hope to eke out those pesky birds one at a time. The fact is, and I think we've all come around to realize this, Squadron Hawk is overpowered. Now this would have been a complete joke line a year ago, but we have learned so much, haven't we? This little guy, for 2 mana, Gives you 4 flyers and 4 freaking cards. Man, who'd have thunk it? Squadron Hawk is not only the real deal, it's a player stomping machine. Amiria Angel, she doesn't stand on her own. She simply makes more Squadron Hawks. But let's not deny the other overpowered element, Sword of Feast and Famine. Putting early harvest on this thing just pushed it way over the top, as getting hit with one of these is arguably a worse feeling than getting hit with any other sword in the game. Not only do you lose a card, they basically take another turn for free. What a beating. And then a blue-white deck, where big powerful spells are key, and keeping mana up on other people's turns is also key. An overpowered card advantage engine combined with an overpowered piece of equipment is sometimes just too much. And with all of that out there, I still think we can recognize that this format is better than what we were stuck with. There is still brewing going on, from that crazy Arachnus Spinner, Arachnus Web concoctions that are just waiting to be abused, to the mono-green beatdown deck that actually went 7-2 at the SCG Open in Pittsburgh. Yes, Dungrove Elder really did get there for a top 32 showing. Now what can you do? Well, with a slightly underpowered Cawblade, you can still get plenty of wins with goblins and their grenades, vampires of the black and red variety, and for those wanting that Cawblade feel with half the guilt, you can play the Night Shift version that includes black and runs gravitational shift. Talk about your scary hawks. Now moving on, Modern is officially a thing now, as determined by Wizards of the Coast again in San Diego a few weeks ago. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the Modern format includes all cards in a modern frame. An arbitrary line in the sand, sure, but at least one that is visual and easily discernible. Printed in a modern frame, you're good to play with it. Now, what the exact quote means that we're moving forward with Modern, I don't know. I'm guessing our PTQs next year will feature Modern instead of Extended because, as we all know, everyone hates Extended. Now, Ravnica Shocklands have once again surged in value thanks to this, and the financial landscape has changed dramatically. Cards like Hypergenesis went from once banned to now sought, and other cards will see similar spikes as that format hashes itself out. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
I always like the fatties.